Spider-Man does whatever a spider can.
D-Day for parents. Spider-Man goes on general release, but is it too violent for children?
Here comes the Spider-Man.
John's swinging in the morning. You're watching the news hour on GMTV.
More dramatic than that, actually, some days. It's 6 o'clock on Friday, the 14th of June. Thanks very much indeed, Carla. Now then, you can hardly go into a shop without seeing stuff like this at the moment. Spiderman opens across the country today, but you won't be able to take your children, at least not young children, to see him because it has a 12 certificate. Let's cross live now to Jackie Cabler, who's in Norfolk for us this morning with more on this. Good morning, Jackie.
Good morning, John. Yeah, there's a huge row blown up over the Spider-Man film. The British Board of Film Classification say it's one of the most violent films aimed at children they've ever had to classify. Now, they've given it a 12 certificate, but say it should be borderline 15 certificate. Meanwhile, some cinemas have disagreed with this, and they've lobbied their local councils and had it changed to PG rating. So who's right? Well, there's a group of mums here who actually saw the film yesterday. Now, ladies, what do you think? Jane, would you let under 12 see it? Because I know all your children here are under 12.
I'm going to take my 10-year-old. I don't think I'd take anyone under 8, because I think they might be frightened.
And that's because there's the violent scenes in it?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, Julie, you think that there should be a different rating system, don't you, to allow for that difference? Because 12 years is a long span of time for children.
Yeah, I just feel that parents need more than just a PG. They need to be advised whether it's suitable for an 8-year-old, a 12-year-old, 10-year-old. I mean, that film last night that I watched, a 4 or 5-year-old who would probably be into Spider-Man, you know, I think they probably would be scared. Whereas an 8 or 10-year-old with their parents, I think that would be fine.
Now, that's a view of all of you, isn't it? That some children, maybe under 5 or 6-year-olds, wouldn't really enjoy watching this film. What do you think?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I feel that my 10-year-old son would really enjoy it. That'd be okay for a 10-year-old, yeah.
Okay. All right, now all your children really looking forward to seeing it, aren't you? Yeah. Yes, they're going to get their first glimpse of it here in Norfolk a little bit later on, and in 15 minutes we'll be talking to the cinema owner who's lobbied his local council to get it down to PG. But for now, back to you.
Thanks very much indeed, Joe. I've got my eyes on the Spider-Man underpants, have you?
Do you know, that's funny, I thought those were your lucky pants, so obviously you haven't... they're a bit too big. They're a bit too big for you, though, aren't they, John? Those?
You can hardly go into a shop or a fast food chain or anywhere indeed without seeing some of this at the moment. Spiderman opens across the country today, and this is the massive merchandise, or a bit of the merchandise anyway, that goes with it. Now, amazingly, your children can kit themselves out from head to toe as their hero, but most of them at least won't be able to see him in action because the film has been given a 12 certificate, and in a moment I'll be talking to the head of a chain of 4 cinemas in Norfolk which has managed to get it changed to a PG. But first, here's Sue Jameson.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
Well, there's only really one event this weekend, apart from the football, I suppose, and that is the opening of the Spider-Man movie. And if you are a Spider-Man fan, well, you can find almost anything featuring your favourite superhero. Quite a good haul. I've got a foam bath here, a cuddle sack, a pair of slippers, and a hat. Well, here we have everything that the well-dressed Spider-Man could possibly want. We have a pair of pyjamas there, a pair of socks, most importantly, of course, a pair of underpants. But here, they've run out of all the small sizes. They're so popular. Wow! So which film do you want to see?
Spider-Man, but we're not old enough.
How old do you have to be? 12. So 12. And how old are you?
11.
How old are you?
9.
I'm older than that, so I'll bring you some popcorn.
You'll find the Spider-Man.
That was Sue Jameson. Well, let's cross live now to Trevor Wicks, head of the film chain which campaigned for the reclassification. He's up in East Anglia for us this morning. Good morning, Trevor. Now, just to explain to people what you've managed to persuade the council to do, you've managed to persuade them to grant this film a PG, which means that parents can take youngsters of any age in to see it. Why did you do that?
Well, there was so much pressure from parents and children to see this film that we felt we had to try and make the effort to bring it down to a PG.
Okay,
the problem is, as you just...
I was going to say, OK, but you know what the British Board of Film Classification say? They say that this is one of the most violent films they've ever seen aimed at children, that it makes violence look like a normal, appropriate response to any challenge. What do you say to that?
I would say they would say that, because a film like Lord of the Rings, for instance, was given a PG, and people said that film was violent. It was given a warning that it wouldn't be suitable for under 8s, which is what the council here have given the film itself. So Spider-Man, they're saying, is suitable for children, but under 8s is given a warning.
Yeah, I was talking to my 14-year-old about it. He's seen it as well. His view is that it is correctly labelled as a 12, and that younger children would find it frightening. I mean, there's a pretty horrible scene where someone gets impaled, I gather.
That's right. And it's not an ideal situation. Obviously, we're at the end of the market. We didn't make the film. We're at the end of the market, so we have to deal with the problem we actually have. I think if I'd have made it myself, then probably the things would have been toned down. But I think children these days are a little more accustomed to this cartoon violence.
Sorry, we keep interrupting each other, I don't mean to. What then do you say to the point that some people will make, that you've done this to cash in, really, to get more people in the cinema?
Well, I think if you ever worked in a cinema and faced an irate parent and their child, then you'll know exactly what I mean. Because if the child has sat down for breakfast and had some Spider-Man cereal, gone to a local fast food and had a Spider-Man kids meal, and then been turned away at the cinema, you're going to have major problems with that parent and that child. And that's the problem we'll have on the front line of the cinema, in the foyer.
OK, well, we'll leave it there. We're going to continue this discussion throughout the programme this morning and counsel the opinion of our viewers. But Trevor, for the time being, thanks very much indeed.